Hello and welcome back to the workshop for part 3. Part 3 is going to be a very short video. It's just a few have said when's the next video, so I'm doing a short video to show you where I'm up to. The walls are boarded on both sides, the ceiling is fully boarded. I'm now waiting for the sparky to come back to put my sockets, wire my lights. The cable is already there above the ceiling for the lights, they've just got to be wired in. New consumer unit is run the armour cable, which runs about 15 to 20 metres back to the house to the main consumer unit. But it's been slow progress. That's because I've managed to damage my wrist that I broke in the summer. I've pulled some tendons and that's been giving me a lot of, loads of trouble all over Christmas and this month. So it's been quite slow progress. So this video is not going to be the longest video, it'll be quite short, but video 4 is going to be a good one. So keep watching, thank you. So before I board in this section, I'm going to put a piece of ply between the battens so the electrician can get a decent fixing when he fixes up the consumer unit. I start off by screwing a couple of battens either side. They're set back slightly so that when the ply goes in it fits nice and flush. So the electrician should be able to get a nice fixing on that. That's nice and solid. So it's a quick run round with the cam vac before I start boarding. Now I've sped this part of the video up on purpose because this is exactly the same as the other side. You've seen me fit the rock wall on the other side, so this is no different. The top bit's fitting nicely, the bottoms need a little bit of trimming. Now I've had to remove my piece of ply so I can drill a hole for the wires to run through for the consumer unit. My wife's holding the board for me because, as you all know, these drills can be a little bit spiteful and they can snatch and it can be quite painful if this piece of wood spirals out of control. It's just a case of threading the cables through, including the armour cable. I just hope the electrician is happy with this. I can't see any reason why not. It's just a case of screwing it back in place. And again, the tricky job of putting the vapor barrier up. I start at the top. I use heavy duty double-sided tape. I stick that to the top and work my way down. You'll see a lot clearer later on during the video. Another board going up, drilling some holes for some more plug sockets. I place another piece of OSB behind so I don't drill into the cable. Again, exactly the same on this side. Scrap piece of wood behind so I don't drill through. I Don't want to go through the vapour barrier, and I don't want to go through the cable. Now I attach a piece of masking tape to my rule. This is so that I can make a mark with a pen, so that all my holes I drill in the OSB will be in exactly the same place across the board. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm marking that with a pen, and I'll just transfer those marks onto the OSB, and then when I move the rule across, they'll be in the same place all the way across the board. Probably a bit over the top, but it's just the way I am. And there we go, one more board up. Now this is something new. I'm trying a new device that my brother-in-law has lent to me, where the camera follows you around the room. Now, the amount of stuff that I've got in my workshop at the moment, I don't think it's working to its full potential, but I'm looking forward to using it in later builds. I think it'll be really good. So that's the second board of the day, making good progress today. So I'm now taking some measurements and marking out where the window is, very, very roughly. I'll cut it out roughly first of all using the jigsaw, and then once I've done that I'll come back to it later with a flush trim bit in the router and get a nice finish. Now this clearly isn't actual speed, I've sped this up quite a bit. I'm now fixing some clamps because I know when I cut the last piece out this is just going to fall, and this is where you need two pairs of hands. As I mentioned, I've cut this out very roughly first of all. That's board number 3. Now it's back to cutting out around the window again on the other side. Now I must admit, I've only just bought this jigsaw. I cannot believe I've gone so many years without using a jigsaw. It's just such a fantastic tool. And that's board number 4. So that's that wall done. Well, almost anyway. I will have 4 double sockets on this wall, and the wires at the top on the right there are for the light switches. I'm just taking a few measurements because I now need to replicate that hole in the OSB, but it needs to be in exactly the same place. So I'm just getting rid of the rough edges with a little bit of sandpaper, and the real test is to see whether this fits, and it just about does. It's a tight fit, as you're going to see in a second, but it does fit, and it does fit perfectly, to be fair. I'm really happy with this. Now these cables are really getting in the way, so I've got a nice easy fix for these. I'm going to tape them up with a little bit of gaffer tape, and I'm going to tape them up here so they're out of the way. Now, just to show you the outside where this armour cable goes, it runs along the top of our brick wall, which is about 10 metres, down the wall, through the wall, and then it runs along the front of our cottage for about another 10, possibly 12 metres. I think there's 30 metres of armour cable in total. And we're on to the third wall. So this is exactly the same as the other walls. I'm adding lots of double-sided tape to all the stud work, and then I'm going to put my rock wall in between, add some extra studs for the light switches, and then over to the vapor barrier. Now, I mentioned earlier on in the video that I would show you how I fit the vapor barrier. I start off by rolling it out and then cut it to size approximately. I obviously overlay a little bit, and then it's a case of getting it on the wall. You'll see in a second that I start at the top. I start by unpeeling the top row of double-sided tape, and in a minute I will attach a section and work my way across. I've sped the video up, as you can obviously see. I've had to do that because this piece took me about 30 minutes to do approximately, but you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'll start off at the top and work my way down. Now, as you can see, this really is no quick job. It does take time. As I said, it took me 30 minutes to do this. Just peeling the backing paper off the tape takes time, but it's one of those jobs you just have to take your time, make sure you've got it nice and taut, nice and neat, pull the cables through at the same time, and then press it flat against the tape. And then the final job is cutting out the window. Well, I guess that's not the last part. This is the last part. The last part is taping the joints with gaffer tape. So it doesn't take 30 minutes, probably takes close on an hour to do one wall. I then cut off the excess along the floor, and I then do exactly the same where it meets the ceiling. I then just tape the overlap with some gaffer tape. And that's another wall almost done. The next job is to cut out around the window. I'm going to be using a flush trim router bit in my Makita trim router. Now, this clearly isn't actual speed. Now, I must admit I wasn't overconfident about doing this. I was concerned that the flush trim router would tear the vapor barrier or the gaffer tape that I put down, but in fact it didn't. It's just a case of setting it right in the first place and it won't touch it. just getting rid of those rough edges with a bit of 120 grit. And another quick clean up with the CAMVAC. As you can see, I do like to keep things nice and tidy, and I'm a big fan of this CAMVAC as well. So it's now over to the lights. You would have seen in the previous video that I'd fitted the frames already, 6 in total, but I now need to put the LEDs into the frames. But first of all, I need to drill a tiny 15mm hole to put the cables through, which will attach to the drivers on the other side of the OSB. So that cable fits through the tiny little 15mm hole. That then connects to the driver on the other side, and when the electrician arrives next week, he will connect them all up for me. These are really simple to fit. Just clip them back in, with a little clip either side. You wait for it to click, and then you know it's locked into position. And now, over to light number 2. So I'm just going to put my temporary light back in. That just slides in, as easy as that. Now I can see what I'm doing again. So light number 1, light number 2 and 3, light number 4, light number 5 and light number 6. Now I have been told this could be really bright, so I'm going to have these lights on 2 switches so they don't all have to be on at the same time. And now I'm going to start to fit my metal clad boxes. I'm running the laser around the wall, as you can see. I managed to drop my other laser last week and smash the glass, so I've been out this week and invested in a new laser. I bought a DeWalt one to match the rest of my tools, and I've gone for the green laser. So far, really pleased with it. Now these are little rubber grommets, and they go on the back of the metal back boxes to help protect the wire when it goes through. As you can see, this new laser is really quite bright. I'm really pleased with it. It's a big improvement on the old one. Now I'm getting a really good fix in here because this is going straight into the stud work, and the top screws are going into 2 top pieces that I put either side of the wire, which I screwed down into the studs, which you may remember earlier on in the video. So that's the first 4 fitted. I've got 8 more to go, 7 on the walls, 1 on the ceiling. I'm now going to fit 3 more on this wall, giving 4 in total. So as I say, that's 12 in total, 11 on the walls and 1 on the ceiling. That should be plenty. Now I did say this would be a short video. It's actually been quite long. It was only when I sat down to edit it that I realised how much I'd recorded and how much I'd completed. Okay, so that's the end of part 3. In part 3 you've seen me finish all the boarding, walls and ceiling. I fitted the lights to the ceiling. I fitted the metal clad boxes to the walls. All I'm waiting for now is the electrician to come this week. He's going to connect everything up, fit the new consumer unit, and then also I've got the new garage door being fitted this week. All of that will be in part 4. Once again, thanks for watching. Bye for now.